I was mentioning last night, I was considering my top 5 athletes that were born in the state of Alabama. This guy's an athlete that was born in the state of Alabama. You did not.
Just missed the top 10.
You were not in front of Willie Mays. I got to tell you, you did not get in front of Willie Mays, Swain.
Hey, that's okay because he's the best baseball player ever. Technically, I was born in Illinois, so I didn't qualify anyways. Yeah,
I'm glad you. I'm glad I didn't put you on the list. Grew up in Alabama, though. I give you grew up.
Hey, can we clear something up, Jason? Because we were talking about this earlier, and I said I've heard it pronounced 7 different ways. Nico's last name, Nico is
Iamaleava. Is what I'll go with.
Yeah, you don't feel confident.
I usually go with just Nico, but I'm more comfortable saying his last name than I think most people. So.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna keep with Nico till I hear it a few more times.
Yeah, go with Nico.
Yeah, it was obviously, and Tennessee's our preview team today. The panel of voters, which these are members of our audience, people in the sports media, Jason, voted Tennessee number 16. And I think some of that is because they're wondering what you get with Nico. We saw it in the bowl game, and I just never know how to rate those bowl games. Iowa's a great defense. You never know about, motivation in bowl games and things like that. So when you got to see him play a full game, what jumped out at you from him?
He's different, guys. I mean, you've heard so many recruits come in, they're 5 stars, they're the best thing since sliced bread, and sometimes you're really hesitant to really go there with them. But with Nico, you shouldn't be. He's special. He's mobile. He's a great leader. He is humble. He's accurate with the football. It doesn't matter if he's on the run or if he's in the pocket. He's just special, and he's very, very coachable. What you saw in that bowl game was an offensive line that was beat up. You had several starters out. You had an offensive receiver group that was banged up and didn't have their best players. And Tennessee has since upgraded that position. We're still looking to see how explosive they will be. You need to have guys on the outside like Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman like you had in 2022. So that is yet to be seen from the wide receiver group. But this offensive line has been retooled. You brought in Lance Hurd from LSU. Guys are healthy. He's special. Listen, he is special. I'm not really concerned with him living up to expectations because he is that guy.
With that said, from 7-6 in year 1 to Hyup to 11-2 to 9-4, when we were previewing Tennessee earlier, I said I kind of think that bar for Tennessee fans is we need to win 10 games and go to a college football playoff. Probably not fair when you talk about how loaded the SEC is, but is that kind of the mentality with Tennessee fans right now?
I think it is fair. I mean, Josh Heupel was entering his 4th season. You're in your 3rd quarterback. Your 3rd quarterback is a sophomore, someone that you have identified as the face of the franchise, someone that you want to build around. I mean, Tennessee went to bat against the NCAA because of Nico. So he's the guy. And you've had years to have multiple recruiting classes to build that depth on the defensive line, linebacker group, and in the secondary. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the bar. That's the standard for this year's group. And one thing I like about Josh Heupel, he's not shying away from it. He embraces it. That should be the goal, is for this team to get to the college football playoff.
Jayson Swain is with us at Swain Event on Twitter is where you follow him. He's part of Jayson Swain there, but the Swain Event on Twitter there on the Sports Animal in Knoxville. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. We were talking about that schedule earlier, and it is an interesting September with those two. They're 2 easy wins, but then there are 2 interesting games. One in Charlotte against NC State. That's a good enough team to beat Tennessee. And then on the road in Oklahoma, where you get your first good road test there if you're Tennessee. Both those games coming in September, losable games, winnable games. You could see a 4-0, you could see a 2-2. I think it's a fascinating September.
Yeah, definitely a toss-up game. I think Tennessee will enter that game as a better team, but you have to play well to win. Grayson McCall is the transfer quarterback coming in NC State, so he's experienced, he's tough, he's gritty. So defense will have their work cut out for him. And then Oklahoma, that's Josh Heupel's first time going back home, and he won a championship there as a quarterback. But that relationship between him and the Stoops, not the best relationship, and so that's going to be a good week right there. Storylines will pretty much do the work for us that week. But the Oklahoma Sooners, they have a first-year quarterback as well as Tennessee. The word is they have some offensive line questions. Tennessee's most experienced and deepest and most talented group is defensive line. James Pierce will be a top 10 pick. You look at Omar Norman-Lott, who could have went to the NFL last year. A lot of experience, a lot of talent. So defensive line should lead for Tennessee this season. And you have an offensive line that's very experienced, a defensive line that's very experienced, and some really good play at quarterback. You're supposed to win 9-10 games in the SEC normally. Yep. So we'll see what happens.
I want to go back to something you said with Hyup and Stoops, because, after the 11-win season, there were people, one day Heupel's going to go back to Oklahoma, and then the other side, he could never go back to Oklahoma. What exactly, Cliff Notes version, went down between, as much as between Heupel and the Stoops?
When Heupel was offense coordinator there, their defense was worse than their offense that year. Well, Stoops' brother was defensive coordinator, Mike Stoops. Heupel was offense coordinator. They fired Heupel instead of Stoops, who was the defense coordinator. The offense was good that season. And so I think that has always been a part of Josh Heupel. And he's going to go to Oklahoma, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to have that in mind. We've seen Heupel run up the score in other games versus coaches. He's shown some pettiness there. I personally like it. We'll see what happens in Oklahoma. But, yeah, he shouldn't have gotten fired that year. But you going to fire your brother, or you going to fire, your former quarterback that won a championship for you? So Stoops picked his blood.
So Brent Venables might catch the stray for the Stoops brothers? That's what's going to happen here potentially?
Potentially, yeah, potentially. Offense has to play well, team has to play well, but there's some extra sauce to this game for sure.
You mentioned James Pierce, and what a fantastic first year. 14.5 tackles for loss, had the 10 sacks. Could you make an argument behind Nico's second most important player on this team?
I wouldn't call him the second most important player. I would call Cooper Mays the center of the second most important player. And I would argue that he's the most important player. Honestly, Cooper Mays, when you look at the tempo of this offense, the center is who goes and sets the line. He chases down the ball. Everyone gets lined up on him, and then the ball is snapped. Well, you can't do that unless you have a center that understands what's going on. Cooper does understand what's going on. He's experienced. He's tough as nails. Last year, when Tennessee went on the road and played Florida, that interception happened because of pressure right up the middle. You didn't have Cooper Mays for the first couple of games. His first game back was versus South Carolina, and that's when the offense started to look a little bit better. I think Cooper Mays is either 1 or 1B as far as most important. Best, that's James Pierce, no doubt about it, this season, and then Nico following James. But Cooper is very, very important to the success of this team and this offense.
Former Tennessee wide receiver Jayson Swain at Swain Event is where you find him, a sports animal up in Knoxville. Thank you very much for the time, Jayson. Always good catching up with you.
Heck yeah, man. Y'all keep kicking butt. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. You too. Thank you, Jayson.